Hello and welcome back to session 3 of how to put yourself into deep self-hypnosis. So let's jump straight in to the practical elements of self-hypnosis. Now, this theory I'm going to give you and the exercise I'm going to give you work regardless of your experience with either meditation, relaxation, mindfulness, or even some sort of self-hypnosis. I just want to give you my version. It's very, very simple, doesn't take a lot of effort to do, and actually is really, really naturally. So again, let's put yourself in the position and the context of this. You've booked a client in, your client's half an hour away, and you're starting to get a little bit anxious, a little bit worried about how the session's going to go. Maybe you're starting to feel a little bit of anxiety in your stomach, you're starting to get butterflies, you're starting to worry, is this session going to be a success? This is the perfect time for you to do self-hypnosis this half an hour before your client gets there. So, in order to have successful self-hypnosis, we rely realistically on one thing only. That's right, it's just one thing. And this is where your attention goes. Now, when I say attention, your conscious attention. Let's take it back to the hypnotist that's very, very anxious and very scared. Where is this therapist's attention or this hypnotist's attention? If a hypnotist is feeling scared or anxious, it's probably because they're putting their attention on thoughts that make them anxiety. They put the thoughts on things that are making them scared. Where your attention goes, the thoughts are going to flow. The energy of those thoughts are going to start to represent and manifest themselves. If, however, a therapist or a hypnotist's thoughts are on things that are cool, calm, collected, anxiety-free, scared-free, that's the way they're going to feel. And self-hypnosis is no different. In order to put yourself into deep self-hypnosis, it requires you to train your attention. You'll find that your attention is very fleeting. As a matter of fact, a normal human being can only put their attention on something for anywhere between 2 to 3 seconds before it's taken somebody else. That's why our thoughts can seem like they're just on rapid fire, just a million miles an hour. It's because sometimes our ability to keep our attention on something is very, very lazy. It's just undertrained. So what self-hypnosis allows you to do, and one of the keys to getting good at self-hypnosis, is to train your attention. Now, the self-hypnosis I'm going to talk about is something that if you're familiar with my work or familiar with any of our certifications or other courses, I rely heavily on something called unconscious moments. Now, if you've done an unconscious moments course before this, or you're brand new to it, let me give you the 101 version of what an unconscious moment is. Now, this same rules apply to yourself as they do for a client. What an unconscious moment is a pure expression of the unconscious mind in action. In therapeutic or hypnotic terms, these are known more as hypnotic clues or cues. I call them spotting unconscious moments as a technique. So for those who have done unconscious moments training before and learned how to spot them, what this hypnotist is doing is looking for visual or auditory clues that lets him or her know that their client is in trance. And we know from unconscious moments, if we see or hear an unconscious moment, it lets us know as the hypnotist that our client is in trance. If our client's in trance, it means that the conscious mind is less active and the unconscious or subconscious is more active. We know that trance exists in the unconscious mind, meaning that if we want trance, we have to have the unconscious mind express itself. They're interchangeable at that point. So, in order to put this back on ourselves, what if we took the same theory that we apply to clients, which is to either watch or listen for an unconscious moment, and we as the hypnotist found our own unconscious moment? Believe it or not, we're always having an unconscious moment. There is parts of our reality that's known as an unconscious reality that are happening right now, but because we can't see or feel them, definitely feel them, seeing is a little bit difficult at that point, but we can't feel these unconscious moments because our attention is on the outside world. Very rarely do we take time and put our attention internally. And this is the first step of how to put yourself into deep self-hypnosis, is to utilize your own unconscious moments and use your attention as what I call fuel. If you've ever driven a car before, you know in order to go from A to B, your car needs fuel. If your car doesn't have fuel, your car goes nowhere. So 2 things, you need to find your own unconscious moment, because we know now that an unconscious moment is the unconscious mind in action, and that's where trance lives. Trance doesn't live in the conscious mind, it lives in the unconscious mind. Think of trance as when the unconscious mind expresses itself, it expresses itself as something we call hypnosis or trance, and has many connotations, many different feelings associated to that. It's going from normal reality to this weird and wonderful unconscious reality. That's what self-hypnosis is. So our first step is, and do this along with me, you can always just listen to my voice at this time. Either you can do this with your eyes closed or do it with it open. It really doesn't matter. What I suggest you do is make sure you're sitting somewhere just for your own safety. This will be very, very quick. What I want you to do is, whether your attention now is listening to me and possibly watching this video, is I want you to draw it inside. Find a part of your body that's doing this or experiencing this. Find something that feels unusual. Maybe while you're sitting there, you notice that you've got some tingling in your hands. Maybe your stomach feels a little bit strange. Maybe your legs feel really heavy. Maybe you've just put your attention on your feet that are touching the floor, touching the carpet. Maybe you just started to notice that your clothes are touching your skin. Maybe you noticed that a part of you is twitching, or a part of you is cold or heavy or light or warm. Anything that is outside of your attention. Almost find something that grabs your attention. So do this for me now. Almost scan your body at this point, if you will, and find your own unconscious moment. Find something that seems a little bit strange, something you didn't realize that was happening until you put your attention on it. It might be your breathing. It might be your heart rate. It might be just the rhythm of your heart beating. It could be any of these things. As an example, I'll give you what happens for me. When I put myself into self-hypnosis, I've done it for many, many years now, most times, or bar none, most times, my right hand, so this hand right here, whether I've got it on my lap or I've got it on the chair of my recliner or I'm in my office like we are now, wherever I am, as soon as I think about putting myself into self-hypnosis, my right hand gets extremely tingly. I don't know why it happens. I don't know how it happens, but that's the first thing that grabs my attention. Even talking about this now, I can actually feel this hand starting to get really, really tingly. That's the connection I've made to self-hypnosis. So this is my own unconscious moment. So what this is telling me is this is where my trance is beginning. Now, I'll repeat, that's important. Wherever you're finding that unconscious moment, that's where your trance is beginning. So it could be a heaviness, a stillness. You might find the rhythm of your heart. It might be your breathing. It could be the tingling feeling like myself. It could be warmth. It could be coldness. It could be anything that's outside of awareness. Anything that seems unusual or strange. And also that you didn't know was there until I asked you to put your attention internally. Now, if it helps to have your eyes closed to really locate that, go for it. One of the hardest things to do is usually find this unconscious moment. But when you do more practice, and I suggest you practice this over and over, and this should take you sometimes 5 seconds, it might take you 30 seconds another time, it could be the next time you try this, it could take you 2 minutes to do. You need to start to train your attention and locate these unconscious moments. So if you've had success in finding that unconscious moment, what I suggest you do before you jump into the next video is keep trying this out. It took me many, many times to apply my own attention to keep finding and locating these unconscious moments that will let me know trance is beginning. So before you even jump on the next video and learn what to do, just get used to putting your attention internally. For some people, it gets very, very difficult. For some who are more trained in meditation or mindfulness or just that way inclined, it's a little bit easier. Remember, we're training your attention right now. So find that unconscious moment and just find it. And then maybe just for some fun, find another part of you that feels unusual. What's another part of you that's having its own unconscious moment? How many can you find? You might find that by putting your attention on different ones around your body, the rest of your body starts to join in, and before you know it, your whole body feels tingly, your whole body feels warm or cold. What's important here is to not try and create one. Don't try and force it. Don't try and get that tingling hand just because I've said so. Find your own, because that's your body telling you, and that's the connection with your unconscious mind, that your body is telling you that's where your trance starts. For some students I've trained have talked about one of their feet feeling heavy. Another one I've talked to said their mind got really clear. Another one said they started to feel their heartbeat, the rhythm of their heartbeat got really intense. everybody is different, and your unconscious moment's going to be different for you, maybe your friends who you talk about this with, and also everybody you meet. Everyone will have their own unconscious moment. The reason this is important is because you're using your own body's unconscious mind that's in action. We're always having it's expressing itself, and you're just putting your conscious attention on it. So that's the first step, finding and locating that unconscious moment for this deep trance. So when you're ready, I suggest stop this video before you move on to the next. Practice this. How many can you find? Write them down if you want to. Have some fun with this. Use eye closure just to help you concentrate more. So when you're ready, move on to the next video where we talk about what do you do once you find it. There's really only 2 or 3 steps to successful deep trance with self-hypnosis. Outside of that, it can get really complicated when you start asking yourself, why am I doing this? How am I going to do this? Can I make it better? Those courses are for later. Those questions can be asked later. The foundation is, when using unconscious moments in this more natural self-hypnosis, is can you find and locate that unconscious moment for yourself? So when you're ready, practice this, have some fun with it. Once you've done that and you've got a firm grasp of how to do that, simultaneously, it's nice and simple to find and locate. Move on to the next video. We'll just talk about how to train your attention and what to do once you find it. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.